Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a marvelous week. It is very dreary today where I live, but it's not icing and 10 degrees, so I ain't complaining. Um, anyway, so what is my title of my video about? Well, so in the title, I said everything that we do is because we learned to do it. Now, it's a little bit simplistic to say, well, I just dropped this pen because I learned to drop the pen. It's much more realistic to figure that any one apparently simple act is actually the sum total of every experience, negative and positive, that you've had over the course of your lifetime. I could have just as easily picked up this little tiny jar and used it in my demonstration, if you will, that I could drop it, and that one simple act is because somewhere along the way I learned it. But what made me pick up the pen instead of this little? It's a little glass jar. If you look at it really close, it's a little glass jar. Well, I'll tell you why I picked this up rather than this, because this is incredibly expensive, and this is a dime a dozen, maybe a penny, maybe 2 pennies a dozen. I've had problems in the past where I thought one of these little lids was on securely, but in fact it wasn't. And there's not much in there to begin with, so if you drop any, you've lost some money. Even a very simple act, it's actually made up of multiple parts, and your brain operates at lightning fast speed. I used a video. You go back and look at it maybe a month or so ago. I think it's titled "The First Documented Lie," related to the whole Chris Watts thing. And I went through and I was showing the whole eye movement, whether someone's neuro-linguistic programming, whether someone is lying, whether accessing process, or they're accessing semantic, whether it's something that they're creating novel information, new information being applied in a new way, or whether they're recreating memorized information. And so I took that video of him talking and pointing, targeting in on when he said something that now at this point, after all this time, we know for a fact he was saying something that was just untrue. It was just a lie. And then you can watch his eyes, you can watch the muscles in his face, you can watch his eyebrows, and you can identify, damn, you slow that video down to 0.19, 1900s. And you can see then that rapid thought, but you slow it down enough that now you can see actually how much processing is happening. That initial surprise, when he looks off to the right because he's about to lie, but he's got to lie about something that he didn't memorize. He's got to lie about something that happened that he wasn't counting on. And so he has to access the part of his brain that is creative. And so he looks off to the right because he's got to make up this lie. And as he looks to the right, then his eyes catch the camera. And you see how quickly it's just a shock. When he looks and he sees the camera, it just is a shock. And then you see that angry kind of angry scowl. And then he has to close his eyes. And when you see the length of time that his eyes are closed compared to all the other things that happen, then you realize, damn, his eyes were closed a really, really long time because he was having to shut everything out, protect himself, and get reoriented. And then when he did open his mouth, he ended up saying something really stupid. So every single thing we do, it's in the brain, it's happening very quickly, and we're accessing lessons, uh, events, and ramifications, consequences that have been occurring since we were born up until where we are right now today. And many of those, so in psychology, we talk about reinforcement and punishment. And with reinforcement, what you're basically talking about is that when you provide reinforcement for something, you're increasing the likelihood that that behavior or action is going to happen again. And if you talk about punishment, then you are reducing the likelihood that that behavior will happen again. So then they, if you get into one of these classical conditioning type classes, cognition and learning, then they'll start talking about adding something into the environment, taking something out of the environment. Then it becomes like positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement. And yes, there is actual positive punishment and negative punishment. So I don't want to get into the specifics of all that. I just want that conceptual awareness that any choice we make at any given moment in time is not an accident. It is a rare thing that something happens by accident if we're aware of the moment. Now, things can happen if we're not aware of the moment. But if you're not aware of what's going on around you, then how can you affect it, right? But if you're conscious and you're paying attention, if something happens, you're going to respond in what some people would say is a very predictable way, only predictable if people already know you. If someone knows you, then they're going to be able to predict how you're going to respond. There are some actions among humanity that we respond in such a general, not a general way, but in a generalized fashion across the board. Just about everyone reacts in the same way that you can just about predict how someone is going to respond. For example, well, let's say the lottery gets up to $600 million, right? Well, what are people doing? They're standing in line for hours to buy a ticket to win $600 million. Let's be truthful. Not many people would miss a $5 bill, right? Some would, but I'm just talking in generalities here. Not many people would miss a $5 bill. And so, 600 million bucks on the line. Well, hell yeah, I'm going to go buy me a ticket. I may buy two. Okay. What is the predictable action among a majority of people the week after someone else won the $600 million? Well, if you're sort of a naive innocent, then you may say, oh, if somebody won the 600 million, probably the next week there's like twice as many people buying tickets to win the new jackpot. But is that the truth? Is that what people really do? And the answer to that is absolutely not. For some odd reason, well, it's called the gambler's fallacy. That if there's $600 million on the line and somebody wins it, then for some reason people think, oh, that's when, if I couldn't win it with 600 million, then I'll never win it. So I should not go and buy a ticket for this week. Which the truth of the matter is, you play in on the week where there's 600 million available, or you play in on the week when it's only 1 million or it's $500, you still got the same chances of winning. It's still 6 balls that have to be chosen at random according to the physics of air. So it doesn't matter if it's 600 million or if it's 6 million, you still got the same chance. It doesn't make sense that you would not do it. So most people are quite predictable in day-to-day behaviors, but when we know a person very well and we've been around them when they've made other choices, then we can get pretty good at predicting what they're going to do. That is one of the reasons why people that enjoy these true crime stories, right? That is one of the reasons why we hear a crime and it seems like we all have the same idea about innocence or guilt. Oh, yeah, he did it. Oh, I know he did it. Or no, she didn't do it. I don't think she did it. Well, if you know psychology, then you know that just because someone acts innocent, it doesn't mean they are. And just because someone looks guilty as hell, it doesn't mean they are. There's a lot that goes into people's appearance and how they present themselves when they're under duress. But those things that change the way they respond, it's always because of something that happened to them in their past. For example, you remember the whole thing in Austin? What was the guy's name? Fieramusco was the perpetrator who killed. What were their names? Not Tracy. Oh, I should have gone back and looked at it. Do y'all remember right off that real quick? Megan Fieramusca was the killer. Megan was the best friend. Heidi Broussard, yes. And what was the boyfriend's name or the husband? Tyler, not Tyler. What was it? Y'all, somebody remind me. Hey, Cindy Foley, I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Shane, yes, Shane. So with Shane, admittedly, Shane did several interviews, you remember? And he looked very nervous, bad off nervous. And because of his high level of anxiety and anxious distress, many people believed that his distress meant that he was hiding the fact that he did a bad thing. And even the police did it. There are now, stories about people outside of the interrogation rooms at the police department where Shane is heard screaming at the police saying, "I've taken your lie detector test. I've told you the truth. Go find my wife and my baby. Why do you keep bothering me? Go find them before it's too late." And he was desperate, right? Well, now after everybody found out about Fieramusca and all that, now we know based on interviews from friends, from his dad, his sister, now we know that Shane has had a lifelong battle with severe anxiety. So this is a guy who gets very anxious in the best of circumstances. But during that week, he was actually dealing with the worst of circumstances. He was dealing with something that you and I would never want to even remotely know what it would be like. So he did come off looking guilty of something. And so we all had that same visceral reaction that, wow, look how nervous the guy is. Must be, he did something really bad or he wouldn't be that nervous. You compare that to someone like Chris Watts, Barry Morphew, which were two different reactions. Chris Watts, just famously, "Oh, I like this shirt," an idiot. And Barry Morphew was just controlled, uber controlled. So it is very difficult. A lot of people watch Barry Morphew and they said, "Yeah, I don't think he had anything to do with her disappearance. He doesn't seem nervous. He's sitting very calm and very still. I think, this is going to be a situation where he had nothing to do with it." And I'm sitting there going, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. I can describe just numerous situations where someone looked to be very relaxed because there's something wrong with their emotional feedback system and they don't get upset. They don't feel out of sorts, anxious. Scott Peterson is one. If you go back and you look at his interrogation tapes, he's just all laid back, like, yeah, man, he's just chilling, he's got his hands in his pocket and he's just talking like chill. Yeah, yeah. Watched a little bit of cake making and had a little bit of breakfast. When did some golfing. He was just like nothing. Even when Amber Fry, he knew that Amber Fry knew that he was married. He wasn't rattled. He did not ruffle a feather. And I kind of look at Barry Morphew like that. He strikes me as somebody who he's got a bad anger problem, a really bad anger problem, out of control with anger. And that's why when I see him very, very, very controlled, my red flags, warning bells go off. This is not a guy that ought to be so laid back and calm, barbecue, throwing a shrimp on the Barbie. If he legitimately loved his wife and he legitimately was frightened for her and he was legitimately looking desperate, just desperate to find her to the point that he's hiking up through the mountains all over the place, that man, based on his history, that man should have been jumping up and down out of his mind, telling, Chaffee County and the CBI, find my wife. You people are imbeciles. You're stupid. You don't know what you're doing. He should have been freaking out. And did anyone see Barry Morphew freak out? Or did you see a very calm, controlled, well-planned 20-second blurb where he was like a statue? Like there was no movement. He kept his eye, he kept his brows down, oh, Suzanne, we just love you, miss you so much, blah, blah, blah. And it was over, right? So there's another example, I think, I think that it looks really bad for Barry that his reputation goes before him and he's a hothead to the point that he's an old man and he's still running around looking for a street fight. And yet when the love of his life goes missing, yeah, well, we think a cat got her. If the cat got her, he drug her up the mountain because that's what they do. No, they don't, Barry. No, cats don't drag their prey to a higher altitude. So yeah, he was too calm, too controlled. It was like it was planned. Now then, so everything that we do, it is because there were a successive number of learning trials or learning episodes that happened throughout the course of our lifetime that either rewarded us or punished us. If we were rewarded, it was increasing the chance that we would repeat that same behavior again in the future. If it was punishing, it was decreasing the chance that we would do that same behavior in the future. So you take someone like Christopher Watts, and for all intent purposes, he looks like a quiet, easygoing, happy, loving family man. And yet, he ends up being the worst family man in history, perhaps. How did that happen? They want us to believe Loony Lana, and her hair problem, Loony Lana, and Just Jay. They want us to believe that this was a great guy. This was a normal guy, and he was just embarrassed because he got caught having an affair. Don't you know? He just got upset that Shanann said, "You're never seeing the kids again." And wow, he had just been pushed around for so long. He just decided, I'm not being pushed around anymore. You want to know the truth of the matter? People that are pushed around often, and when they're pushed around, they stay in the same environment, and it is a good environment. Guess what they don't do? They don't just snap. They're comfortable in the environment. It's working for them. They don't care. People snap when they're not in their normal environment. People snap when they feel all sense of control and power has been taken from them. People snap when they are afraid. You ever seen a dog that had been hurt and was cowering in a corner? You want to put your hand down there to try to get that dog, even to pet him? The dog is going to bite you, I promise. A dog that is frightened and in pain, leave him alone, period. So what's the reason that he was able to do the things that he did? There's a story that stands out in my mind. And it was the story of his teacher saying, write a story about what you did this summer, what you and your family did. Well, he's a poor guy. He came from a family where there wasn't a lot of education. There weren't a lot of specialized skills, and there was just enough money to pay the bills, small little house, single car family. There just wasn't much money. And so whether Christopher didn't want to be embarrassed or whether he had already begun to build the narcissistic mask so that what the world saw would be different than who the guy actually was, i.e., crying in the bathroom at 9 years old, begging God for forgiveness. That ain't normal. So perhaps he was already beginning to build his mask. And he said, well, damn, I got friends that went to Disney World and they went to Europe or they went to the beach for a month. And what did I do? I worked on the old car in my backyard and didn't do a damn thing. And my old man was, putting powder up his nose. And my mom wasn't even around. And the only one that gave a damn that I was even around was my sister. So he doesn't want to say that out loud in the class. All of his friends, all of his classmates, they're all getting up and they're talking about these fun, cool things that they did. And for the little budding narcissist, he's going, remember what he said? I didn't want to be noticed. I didn't want to stand out in any way. Well, standing out would have been saying, we didn't go anywhere. We're poor. Every kid in that classroom would have looked at him and went, you didn't go anywhere? You didn't even drive an hour to the beach? Because then he would have stood out. It would have been different. So he thought, I'm really overly simplifying this, but it is likely that as he's pondering this problem, that the teacher wants him to write a paper about what he did this summer, and then he's got to get up and present that information in class for the enjoyment of the rest of the class. No one wants to hear about the poor boy on the wrong side of the tracks, and he knows that because he's smart. So he thinks, I got to come up with a plan. I got to come up with a story. But it's got to be a story that people are going to believe. It's got to be something that I'm not going to get pinned down on details because I don't know the details. I'm making up a lie. And I bet no one in my class went to China. Look, I've traveled a lot. I've lived in many, many different places outside of the United States of America. I've never been to China. Never, not once. I don't even think I would want to go to China because the flight is so brutal. So he makes this choice. I'll tell him I went to China. No one else will have been there. So it's not like they're going to be able to like pin me down on details and uncover that I'm lying. And then I'll be able to tell a story that people are going to go, oh man, that's cool. That's a great summer. That's awesome. And then he doesn't have to be different. There's the mask. There it is. Oh, Chris, we know him. He's the guy whose family went to China for the summer, right? So everything we do, it's because we learned to do it. He told that lie, and it was a whopper lie for a kid that age. It was a whopper. He told that lie, and he got away with it. And here's what I would bet you. And I would bet that Cindy Watts and Jamie and Mel and Kel, I would bet that they watch my videos when I do something about the Watts family. I would bet they watch my videos because they hate me. They don't like me at all. And so I'm sure that they hate watch. And so I'm going to kind of challenge them. My bet here, here's what I guess or predict. I think that when that teacher said, hey, so cool that you guys were able to take Chris to China for the summer. And Cindy went, what? Oh, well, Chris, we had to write a paper in my class, and Chris, told such an interesting story about the travels that you guys did this summer. It was marvelous. That must have been so exciting. I wish I could do something like that. I will bet you 5 walking American Eagle gold pieces, 5 of them, $10,000. I guarantee you that Cindy said, oh yeah, we had a great time. We did. It was great. Talk to you later. Bye. And she was gone out the door. What do you want to bet? And then she wasn't finished. When she got home, if that was my kid, first of all, if that was my kid, I would have gone, nope, didn't happen. Sorry, my child lied to you, and he will answer or she will answer for that. And then when I got home, my child would have rewritten the paper to be accurate, and then she or he would have turned it into the teacher with an apology. And I wouldn't have been for public shaming. I wouldn't have been for tell the whole class my child's a liar. I wouldn't have wanted to do that. I don't want to hurt my kid. But I want to create in my child, an awareness, a lesson, if you will, that lying and getting caught lying is very uncomfortable, very, very, very unpleasant. And if you do get caught in a lie, then you do need to make amends. I want to teach that to my children because it's my job not to be their friend, but to make my children responsible, contributing members of society. So that when I'm old and gray-headed and can't get out of bed and need someone to bring me my bedpan, one of my kids will be wealthy enough to be able to hire somebody to do that for me. I need somebody to help take care of me, right? So I want my kids not to just grow up loving me, being my friend. No. I need them to be honest, patriotic, and contributing members of society, recognizing that we all have a responsibility to the greater good. That selfishness is okay. It's healing in a way, but only if it comes on the backdrop of I'm only one small piece of the bigger engine, and I need to do something to help my home and then I need to do something to help my town that I live in, and I need to make a contribution to my state, and I need to make a contribution to my whole country by voting and knowing, educating myself, who am I going to vote for and why, or by paying my taxes. You're contributing to the better good, right? So I would bet that Cindy said, "Oh yeah, it was a great time, bye," left, and then when she got home, she said, "Chris," if she said anything, oh, she may not have even brought it up to him. She may not have wanted to deal with it. And so maybe it was better to even just not even say anything about it. But if she did decide to say something to him, perhaps it was, "Chris, did you tell your teacher, your classmates, that we went to China?" Uh, yeah. Why? Well, because everybody else went places and I didn't want to be embarrassed. Oh, okay. Well, don't tell anybody. Just keep it, just don't tell anybody that you lied. I guarantee you that's what happened. I guarantee you. Do you remember what Chris Watts said to Tammy and Graham and Dave when they went up to wherever, the prison? He said, talking about making the decision to go along with Tammy's story, that Chris had hurt, Shanann had hurt the kids, and that he then turned around and hurt her. That, remember, he was talking about, honestly, I never even thought of that idea until you brought it up. And Tammy goes, "I wondered." And then he goes, "But I knew it would probably work because my mom and Jamie never liked her. My mom and Jamie were always fighting and hating on her." You remember that? There's that decision-making process based on all the other events that happened throughout his life. He was molded. He was shaped. Through a process of what we call successive approximation, he was trained to erase the things that he didn't want anymore, including other human beings. So, this goes along with, that's murder. That was number one. Well, I think that was number 3. Fraud. So most people take, and I think Diane is taking a very simplistic view of her fraudulent activity by saying, "It's my money. It's my money. It's my chat, my super chats, my money, my channel, mine. I'm a private donor." Is that her? Well, it's a little more complicated, isn't it? Remember, successive approximation. One step is rewarded, increases the likelihood you're going to do it again. Then the next time it's rewarded, increases the likelihood you're going to do it again. There's been an awful lot of bending the truth over the course of Diane, Wendy, and Randy's lives, I would guess. Okay. So they do say quite often, it's for St. Jude. All the money is for St. Jude. That's what makes our community better than any other community on YouTube. We're the only channel that gives 100% of our donations to children's charity, blah, 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 blah. I don't go along with this narrative that they stole money from the mouths of sick children. If that were the case, then it would have been a situation where, can I respond to that? I've got a message that I'm going to have to respond to. It's going to take me only seconds. Hold on. Let me tell them something. So sorry. Thank y'all for understanding. I appreciate that. Okay. So, So, this is the kind of situation, if you were stealing money from the mouths of sick children, then I think it would have had to been something like Diane was working for St. Jude, or Diane did a telethon and collected $10,000 for St. Jude, and she told St. Jude, I only collected 5,000. Okay, that's different. That would require that people were in the process of knowingly giving money to St. Jude, and somehow she intercepted and rerouted that money away from St. Jude. Here's the way that I conceptualize what she did. It's no less. It's still, and maybe in some ways it's 100% worse. Okay, I conceptualize it that they know, first of all, they know human nature, right? Remember what I said? Most of us can predict what the biggest majority of us would do in certain situations. Look, let's be honest. I can sit here right now and say, okay, everybody, the neighbor's house burned to the ground and they lost it all. They have nothing, zero, nothing. Tonight, I set a goal for $5,000 because that's what this family is going to need to put a down payment on a trailer house, mobile home. So I need you to help. I need some donations. Every penny, it's all going towards the down payment for a new place to live for this old guy. Let's call it this old man and this old woman. They're 85, 90 years old. They're so old, and they had a beautiful house, and it was paid off, and it burned, and they lost all this beautiful furniture, and all of their family pictures are gone, and it's devastating. It's horrible, but we can help. $10 each of us. If there's 500 of us, if we give $10 each, we've got our $5,000. We can help get these people a roof over their heads. What do you think is going to happen? That money is going to start raining down. Money everywhere. That's right. So St. Jude, I used old people. What about children, though? What are you willing to do for a sick kid? I know what I'm willing to do for a sick kid. I know what I do for sick kids. I know. What are you willing to do? But there's something critical when you use an organization like St. Jude, or what's the other one? Shriners Hospitals that does the like wheelchairs, burns, that kind of thing. When we use kids, we almost feel like we're given to angels in the flesh, right? If it's a sick kid, there's something about this idea that it is spiritual to help those families or one of those kids. It's kind of spiritual. To prove my point, I could say, well, like in the case of Delphi, they're building the softball fields. So could you give donations so that we can build the softball field? Who do you think I'm going to be more generous with? To build the softball field, or to help science research for pediatric cancers? Right? The people, it's very hard to understand. The people that work for St. Jude, they have to have special programs for the nurses and the doctors, the physical therapists, the nutritionists. They have to have special work schedules and strategically planned times off, because their lives are just a never-ending waterfall of grief. It's one of the few places to work in the healthcare field where the majority or not so much with St. Jude, but where the majority or a great percentage of your patients are not going to make it. It's devastating. And the kids are residential there. So you may have a child that lives there for 200-300 days, and you get to know the whole family, and you get to know the kid, and you stay up late at night playing skip bow or Uno or Yahtzee, and baby doesn't make it. Those doctors, those nurses, those people that provide direct patient care, they are not just working in the medical field. It is a calling, and it is brutal. It is they are on the front lines of a real live war. Don't ever make any mistake about that. The research that comes out of a place like Shriners Hospital for Children or St. Jude's for the cancer research, the information that they learn, it benefits all of us, you and me, all of us. It doesn't matter that I'm not a child. If I end up getting some kind of cancer, I guarantee you the treatment I receive will have come on the backs of what was learned at St. Jude. It's true. Cancer treatment centers of America are similar. They're a for-profit, but they're similar to St. Jude in terms of the amount of research that they generate for adults. So look, I'm telling you guys, you're going to go around trying to scam people, commit fraud. Stay away from a place like St. Jude or Shriners, because it's not just about the money for the kids. That's bad enough. That's you're a piece of crap for that. But you're interfering with people that they're better than me and you. They're answering to a higher spiritual calling, that they didn't get into medicine to get rich. They got into medicine to help, to learn, to fight these terrible conditions. And what Diane and Wendy and Randy did, they didn't take money out of the mouths of children. What they did is they committed a scam. They enticed you to give money based on the reputation of the workers and the organization of St. Jude. It's no different than saying, hey, make donations. I'm going to give it to the church. Same crap. You're taking from people that are already giving their entire hearts, souls, and mind, everything they've learned. They're living, breathing, and eating pain and illness and dedication and learning and healing. They're as close to Jesus walking the earth as anything else on this planet. So you start messing around with people saying, hey, give me your money, I'm going to give it to St. Jude. And you're like, hell yeah. I wish I was a genius. I wish I was a genius researcher, and I wasn't selfish, and I was willing to cry when the parents cry. I wish I could go and make a contribution to mankind. But you see, Diane and Randy and them, they didn't make a contribution to mankind. They stole from mankind. They took away from mankind. Listen to this. The next time that someone says to you, I'm selling raffle tickets for the St. Jude house. They're $100 a piece. Would you like to buy one? How many of you that have experienced this crap with Diane, how many of you are going to stop and go, what? Give you $100 for a piece of paper that I might win a house? No, because I've had to learn the hard way that when I give to charity, it's just a scam. If you understand that, what I'm talking about, put a 1. I'm just curious how many of you the next time you're given an opportunity to give money for something good, is this thing that's happened with Diane, is this going to make you pause? It's going to make you stop a second, go, wait a second, hold on. Those are my friends. I respected Diane and Wendy and Randy. I trusted and believed in them. I thought that all the crap that they said about other people, that all that was true. And now I know it was not true. I was misled. This is a form of betrayal. And no, I don't want to have my money stolen by scammers. So no, I'm not going to go and buy $100 ticket for St. Jude. You see what I mean? So they didn't just take some money. They interfered with these people, these spiritual people that are working like warriors to try to put an end to childhood suffering for all of us, but specifically working with pediatrics. They did much worse than just deprive them of some donated money. They slandered, they soiled the excellent reputation of St. Jude. They made it more difficult for St. Jude to meet their needs next year. So now I'm going to ask you another question. If you worked at St. Jude and you're part of the money department, and you're part of what they call donor development, are you going to just go, I don't care. It's just a YouTube channel. Nobody gives a damn. It's not a big deal. It's okay. Just done. We're not going to lower ourselves to worry about them. Do you think donor development is thinking that? Or do you think that donor development is thinking like I'm thinking, that they have now soiled our reputation, which then impacts our ability to meet our goal, our research goals, the housing needs, food for these kids and their families. If we don't prosecute, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We have to just because of the size of their channel, the numbers of people that were involved, the numbers of individual donations that were made, we must prosecute because they're harming our ability to meet our financial goals. Do you see what I'm talking about? The money, they're not finished yet going through all of the lives, but they're at around $100,000. It's going to be more than that before it's over. But I think more important than the actual dollar amount, because I don't think St. Jude would be looking to benefit from this. I really believe, thinking about donor development, right? What they're always thinking about is not what kind of money did we bring in today. They're always looking at how are we going to meet our need next year? What can we do now to prepare us to have a really successful fundraiser for next year? And that is one of the reasons why reputation is so dramatically important. If you are working for a nonprofit, or you're working in something like research and development, your reputation is everything when it comes to people that are willing to donate their cash. What about Elizabeth? Remember Theragen? I'm talking about the weird, black turtleneck, like Steve Jobs holding up her little, thing they were going to inject into you, and go to Walgreens and find out your whole history. She was decimated because it was uncovered that she was a liar. And it was over. It folded. I mean, she had huge political names that were in 100% invested in this company. And when it was revealed that she had kept the truth from Walgreens in Arizona, they bailed. They said, "We're done. You're not getting another dime of all of my multi-millions of dollars, because even if I do give you money, none of the other donors are going to give you a dime, because you no longer have a reputation that can carry a nonprofit." Right? So when you are, yeah, Marcia says $1,000 a month up for 3 years, which is 36 months, you're looking at approximately $250 to $400,000 easily. Remember, there was some nights where they would be like, everything, all of it tonight, all of it's going, give. We're doing this for St. Jude. Y'all remember those nights? That money was rolling in like, man. Okay. So St. Jude is going to look at this, and they're going to be unhappy. Even, let's even say it's 50,000, 75,000. That's a lot of money. Okay. That'll buy a lot of food for a family. That'll pay for hotel rooms for a year. I mean, you got to think about this. Okay. Even if it was limited to that, I don't think 50 or 75,000 would be enough to motivate them to spend the legal resources to make it happen. But when you're talking about an organization that's bringing in $36 million a year from public donations, giving away the St. Jude House every year, that reputation is golden. Golden. I think the number of people, yeah, the Ronald McDonald House is a big part with St. Jude and Shriner. Yep. I honestly believe that Diane and Randy and Wendy, they are being very naive. They are definitely in the middle of something that they don't understand. These people that work in the financial part of these big charities, their entire life is about building optics, securing the reputation, getting the story out there for all the good work that $5 you give is going to do. You honestly think that looking at the number of views that Diane's channel received, the number of people, how many times they watched her, and she's saying, everything's going to St. Jude. You really believe they're going to turn around and walk away from that? I don't think they care much. Now, if it's up around 100,000, 200,000, of course, they're going to care about that. I mean, that'll fund a 6-month project easy. But what they're really looking at is the damage that's been done to St. Jude's reputation by being involved in this. In name only, not that they did anything. Diane is a nobody. She's just an old, angry, pissed off, non-Kardashian. She's very average. I guarantee you, she's very average. She doesn't have much. She's living exactly like all the rest of us are living, but she's mad about it because she thinks that she's special. I'm Diane. I'm special. I deserve a really fancy purse like Michael Kors. Excuse me, Michael Kors gets sold at stage. It's not fancy. You want to impress me? Let me see your Chanel bag. Okay? Then I'll be impressed. But until then, you better just leave those alphabet letters MK. You're just making yourself look real bad. Okay? Now then, so remember, in order for Diane to pull this off for 3+ years, there's been a history before that of times where she came by money in a less than candid fashion. Perhaps her mother said, Go in my purse, Diane, and get $10. I have a $10 bill and a $20 bill. I need you to get a $10 bill and go to the store on the corner and get a loaf of bread and some milk and some eggs, and you can keep the change. And so little Diane is all like, oh, yay. Oh, yeah, gonna make some money and not have to work for it. Gonna get my mommy's money and I don't have to sweep the floor. And when she goes in the purse, she sees the 10 and she sees the 20. And what does Diane do? Because she's a greedy little child. She's gonna take the 20 out. And as she's walking to the corner store, she's thinking, what am I gonna say when my mom asks, why did you take the 20 and I told you to take the 10? And she's thinking about it as she gets the milk, the lowest price milk, the eggs, the very lowest price eggs. Instead of extra large eggs, she's going to get the little tiny baby eggs. You know what I mean? On her way home, she realizes if she asks why I took the $20 instead of the 10, I'm just going to tell her it was not a $20, that there were two $10 bills. Yeah. That's what I'll do. And so little greedy liar Diane walks in the house, gives the little baby eggs and the little tiny little carton of milk to mom. And mom says, do you have the change? And she says, yep, right here. See, when I count out, I spent $3 on eggs, bread, and milk, and I have $7 left. And you told me I could keep the change. So it's $7 change. Mom says, okay, well, that was $10. But then the next day, mom goes and decides to go get gasoline in the car. And there's only a $10 bill in there. The 20 is gone. She says, but I saw the $7 change. So I know my sweet, sweet little baby didn't lie. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I only thought that I had a 20 and a 10. I bet I was wrong. Diane, my little sweet, perfect little child, Diane, would you tell me how much money you got out of my purse yesterday? Why, mother, you had two $10 bills, Mommy. I just got one of them. Remember? I showed you the change. Oh, I know, sweetheart. I'm not accusing you of lying. I was all wrong. My old brain just forgot that it was two tens. I thought it was a 20 and a 10, and I was wrong. Thank you for being so honest. What has smarmy little Diane learned in that one little exchange? It's okay to mislead if the end goal is to get some money. That's what she learned. Okay? All right. So Diane didn't just openly go, yeah, sure. I'll destroy the reputation of St. Jude and mislead and make all those doctors and all of those accountants and all those nurses and all those teachers and all those people that answer to a life of service to those children that are ill. But I'll get a little money. And how am I hurting them? It's not like they were waiting on that money anyway. It's my channel after all. I have to plan parties and prizes. Please, how old are you, Wendy? Parties and prizes. We're all showing a little bit of wrinkles, a little bit of extra pounds on the hips, if you know what I mean, girl. You're a little too old to get excited about parties and prizes to justify extortion. Those people in that channel trusted and believed in Diane and Wendy and Randy. And when this truth came out, they experienced real betrayal, heartbroken betrayal. And you've seen the gamut of reactions. You've seen intense anger. You've seen some people that are weeping and crying. You've seen some people that have been like out for revenge. All of the human experiences, all of the human reactions that people that have been violated by infidelity experience. It was real betrayal. It was very real. Some people are a little slower to accept that infidelity is real. A little bit more forgiving when the betrayal is first unveiled. Takes them a little while to get there, but when they do, they're done. When they're done, they're done. So that channel may still have some people that are standing up trying to protect them, may have some people that are standing up trying to keep that community together because they love the community. Don't forget that. These are their friends. This is their social support group. They care very much about each other. Not so much, they don't care too much about Diane. She's just the one that makes a place for y'all to get together and talk. But they love each other, right? And being able to come home after work, or you've sat there by yourself in your house all day, and now, the social communications start, when the sun goes down. Those things are really important to people that feel isolated and lack affiliation with others. And being a part of an organized group where, we're the lawn chair mafia, that gives them a sense of identity. I remember being a little confused, very fascinated, curious, when I started my channel by accident. I remember being very confused when people were saying, well, what are we going to call ourselves? We're going to be the gems, or we're going to be the gemstones. And I was like, what are they talking about? Like, I didn't know what it was. I know now what it is, because like you have, what's one of the channels? Armchair Detective. All of those people call themselves spanners, but I don't know what a spanner is. One thing I thought was maybe that means, they span the ocean. I don't know. Does anybody know what that means? Yeah, the witch hunters are going to be hunted. That is right. It's a shame that people gave their hard-earned money to help children who were ill, and evil people, dishonest people, took it. Diane donated it under her channel. That would be easy enough to find out from. Yeah, no, they've already determined, Kermit, it didn't happen. She did not donate it. She kept it. It's hers. She's told you. Listen to her. She said it. It's my channel, my super chats. I'm not giving any back. Leave me alone. If you don't like it, go away. It's mine. And she's fighting. She's angry, and she thinks that you are beneath her, and she has no intention of trying to make it right, because she don't give a damn about you. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. She absolutely feels justified in what she's done. 100%. She also, and remember what I say, everything we do is because we have learned to do it throughout a personal history of cause and effect. She has learned through the previous loyalty of her subscribers. She has learned that she can do whatever she wants, and there's going to be a core group of people that not only will not leave her, but they will give even more super chats to sort of thumb it in your face because you dislike it. But here's the big one. Here's a big old butt. One of those people over there's got a big old giant butt. But the problem is that this time it wasn't just somebody's word against Diane's word. It wasn't just my word against Wendy's word. It wasn't just your word against Randy's word, which is what it's kind of been in the past, right? And clearly Diane, Wendy, and Randy have no qualms about lying. They lie with hubris. They don't mind. Okay, it's okay. They don't care if they lie. This time is different. And the reason that this time is so critically different is because there's proof. There's proof. Am I right, Marcia? there's proof. You're not going to deny it. It's now they know. So remember what I said. It just like in the case of infidelity, you've got a wide array of responses to betrayal, painful betrayal. I'm talking about real betrayal that can take 5 years off of a person's life. They may lose their job. They may quit paying their bills. They may stop eating. They may start drinking. I mean, there's a lot of infidelity, betrayal is it is a true trauma every bit as a motor vehicle accident. Okay, it can be rough because it's an assault on a person's identity. Okay, so what Diane's channel, what they did is they have these loyal subscribers that love that community and they get their identity and affiliation from that community. That is their source of fun. That is their source of comfort. They helped each other if somebody needed help to pay an electricity bill. And so for a lot of people, the affiliation with that channel was like a surrogate friendship group, or like a surrogate church affiliation, that this group of people, that they would help you and they were always there when you needed them. And that can be incredibly important for people. So it was easy because it was so important for Emmett, for their identity and for their sense of safety. When it came down to an argument, Diane said this, and then Jules of Thought said that, they're not going to believe me. Doesn't matter how truthful I am. They're not going to believe Truthfully Trisha or any of these other people. They're going to believe Diane because she is the one that's at the center of that important relationship in their lives, right? But that big old but is this time it is not one word against someone else's word. This time there are facts, that there is proof. There are things that cannot be denied. And Lord help us, if you ever lie on the internet and make someone mad, they are going to be out to prove and show everybody that you're a liar. It kind of has that feel of don't F with cats, right? You start messing with a cute little sweet kitty cat and people get mad and then they don't give up. You now have, bloodhounds on your butt. And for Diane and Wendy and Randy, I'm afraid they don't yet understand that there are bloodhounds on their trail. They want to know who Diane is. They want to know where she comes from. They want to know if she's ever done any scams before. They want to know if she's ever been in prison before. And I don't know how do you stop them? I don't think you do. I think it becomes a cult-like phenomenon to try and she was stupid. She was stupid because she was so smug and arrogant. Said, well, you'll never know who I am. You'll never find out who I am. And for a bloodhound, you know what that is? That is just an invitation. Rise to the challenge. So I don't know. But back to my previous point, we do things because we've learned to do them, right? And people that experience betrayal, there can be a wide range of responses. There are those people that are in denial for quite some time, and then they make up their mind and they're done, and they abandon that person that betrayed them. There's other people that experience betrayal and they are pissed. They're mad, they're hurt, and they're going to make damn sure you're going to hurt worse. What is Ella saying? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Well, how about 50,000 women and men scorned over St. Jude fraud? Yeah, you got a problem, Diane. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and you were messing with the reputation of what are angels in the flesh. So you're in trouble. These are bloodhounds. These are people that are out for blood, and you threw down the gauntlet. You challenged them. They found you, and they're going to keep going. There are also people that they grieve. They're devastated by the betrayal because it's such an onslaught on their identity. It disrupts being able to feel comfortable by knowing who they are, where they fit into the bigger scheme of things. Those people often are on the phone calling, why'd you do this? Why'd you do this? Well, did you do this? Well, tell me that. What color underwear was she wearing? They can ask these crazy questions, and you're like, that really doesn't matter. You were betrayed. Let's move past that and let's get better. But then there's that group. And this is the group that taught Diane that she could steal by deception. And it is that group that says, I'm going to believe you. I'm going to follow you blindly. We're just going to call you Diane Caref, right? We're just going to let you be Diane Jones in the African forest. Okay, we're gonna make Miss Diane, Miss little greedy little girl Diane. We're gonna make her the cult leader. And all cults know that the cult leader's words are golden. You don't question them. You don't challenge them. You don't look for proof that they're lying. You look for the proof that others are lying. But what remains a constant is that the cult leader is 100% right all the time. So you just disregard when somebody is saying, that person is lying to you. I promise. No, you're an evil, awful, horrible person. Go away. I know my cult leader would never lie to me. Okay. So Diane and Wendy and Randy believed that this would blow over. They would believe that it would blow over because it always has in the past. Because there was a core of people that trusted them implicitly. And that anyone that dare to say a negative thing about Diane or Wendy or Randy, that they were the devil spawn, demon spawn, that to say something negative against the Diane, you were a piece of crap. So they never opened up their mind. They never engaged in critical thinking. They never asked, is it possible that Diane is actually the one lying here? Is it possible that Randy is simply making Diane look like she's telling the truth? This time it's different. This time it was kittens. And there's proof. And you threw down the gauntlet. You challenge people to find out where you are. And I'm afraid you've probably got a lot of trouble in your hands. That's what I think. All right. So we do things because we've spent a lifetime learning that we can. We didn't have parents that took us back to that store and said, tell that man that you stole that piece of candy, and now you give him twice of what it cost, and then you're going to go home and you're going to cut the grass with scissors because you don't steal. Instead, you had parents that said, you stole that? Oh, you little sucker. You cannot. Oh, man, you are a bad little kid, aren't you? Oh, my God, you're so cute. Oh, my God, you're so cute. You're 5 years old and you're stealing candy. Oh, my God, what is it going to be like when you're a teenager? That kid turns into Chris Watts. All right. Yeah, critters. Yes, ma'am. My kids learned the hard way that we're going to be honest, we're going to be patriotic, and above all else, we're going to be kind. That is correct. Hey, true crime curator, how are you? Lack of morals, disturbing. Jennifer Tonks, my friend, how are you doing? Scarlett Poppyfield, welcome. Christo Cedar, love you, Jules. Pearls of Wisdom, take care. You have a good evening. Hey, not there yet. Flirtylicious. I love that name. That's awesome. Hey, Caldomia. My boo-boo. Hey, boo-boo. How you doing? All right. Lack of respect. Yeah, complete lack of respect for others, and a, a disregard, a disregard of integrity overall. That they fail to understand why it was so egregious that they used the reputation of an organization like St. Jude. That shows you because they can't because they can't because you hear Diane saying, "It's my channel, it's my super chats, leave me alone. It was my money. I am a private donor. Leave me alone. I am not giving you your money back." She doesn't understand about the goodness of the type of person that works for St. Jude. And therefore, if she can't appreciate the sacrifice and the enormity of the pain and suffering that even the doctors and the nurses go through, then if you can't appreciate the sacrifice, the integrity that it takes, then how can you appreciate just how low you went? For Diane really believes that it's her money. Here's what's in her mind. I guarantee you she said this. I promise you she has. I guarantee she has said, they were stupid enough to give it to me. And legally, I don't have any culpability, no responsibility. She does actually. She's wrong believing that, but that's what she's saying. That's what she's telling herself, I think. But I believe those three are looking at some big trouble coming. It's not going to be little. I'm telling you, donor development, those people that their whole career is based on making sure that St. Jude can complete their research and care for their patients every year. Donor development is not going to let this go. They're not. They have to see it through. And the reason that they're going to be forced to see it through is because it is their reputation. They have to restore the public's faith that if someone gives a donation in the name of St. Jude, then St. Jude is going to care enough about you and your money that they're going to verify the donation and make sure that it gets applied appropriately. They do not want to be seen as dismissive and lackadaisical when it comes to the donors and their money. They want the donors to feel valued. They want the donors to feel like they are part of the mission. And in truth, they are. They're not a part of the mission. They're at the heart of the mission. Without those dollars, I don't care how many geniuses in the room, you can't get it done. Research, publications, research and development, it's all on money. That's it. Money's first. So donor development, they don't know much about cancer research, but they know a whole lot about the conditions, the psychological conditions that increase confidence in the donor. They want the donor to feel safe and motivated in turning their hard-earned money over. They want to know that the contribution that they're making is actually benefiting a little kid. It's true. So I don't think that St. Jude is going to follow up with this because it was a whole lot of money. They're going to follow up because of donor development and the impression that they appreciate the donors and they have no intention of letting one dime of donated money go to waste, that they will protect the dedication and devotion of the donors. That's that. All right, y'all have a good evening. Talk to you later. Bye. Uh-oh, you're still here. I thought I killed it off. Okay. Sorry. Well, I guess I get to say goodbye again. So I guess I'll do my little spiel. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. Please share my videos on your social media if you would like, although you don't have to. Please provide a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on whether you enjoyed the video, you thought it was useful, or it was a waste of time. And I hate to tell you this, but it's true. Those videos that get a lot of comments underneath them, the algorithm shares those videos. So even if you just leave a little message under the video that says, "Don't F with kittens," then it helps the algorithm to share our video. Okay. All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you, Marcia. I'm glad you were here. I appreciate it. Hey, Elizabeth Grossman. How are you? Hello, critters. Let's see what Kermit says. Scarlet Poppy Field. Can you believe they're saying the Muppets are racist? Racist? The Muppets? They're puppets. I'm surprised at that. The Muppets are just cute little puppets. That's what I said. Norma Star, how are you? Please take care of yourselves. Everybody, please take care of yourselves. Hey, Cork, I like your name. Night all, it was fun talking to you all. You're always fun, Kermit Frog. You're a sweetheart. Hey, not there yet. Hey, Beth, how are you? Hit that thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much, Diane. Appreciate you. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good evening. Yep. Don't mess with St. Jude's. Exactly, Elizabeth Grossman. I know, Caledonia, right? But remember that cult mentality. It is real. It is real. All right. See y'all later. Bye.